4 humans, a spacecraft traveling at 11 kilometers per second, temperatures reaching 2,700 degrees, and a moment, one single moment, that will push them farther from every living person on Earth than any human being has ever been in the entire history of our species. That moment is coming, and by the end of this video, you will feel exactly what it's like to be inside that capsule when it happens. But first, real quick, where are you watching this from right now? Drop your city in the comments. I want to see how far this video reaches, because what we're about to talk about is going to reach a whole lot farther than any of us ever will. Stay with me until the end, because the moment I just described, it's not what you think it is. And when I reveal the full truth of what actually happens in that instant, it will completely change how you see this mission. Let's go back, way back. December 1972, a man named Gene Cernan climbs up the ladder of a lunar module on the surface of the moon, looks back one final time, and says, and I'm paraphrasing here, "We shall return." Then he lifts off, and humanity just leaves. And we never went back. For over 50 years, no human being has traveled beyond low Earth orbit. Not one. We've sent robots, we've sent probes, we've pointed our telescopes at the cosmos and dreamed. But us, we've been stuck, circling our own planet like fish pressing against the glass of a tank. Until now. NASA's Artemis program is the plan to change all of that. Not just to visit the moon briefly and plant a flag, but to go back and stay, to build infrastructure, to learn how to live there, and then, and this is the part that should genuinely give you chills, to use the moon as a launch pad to send humans to Mars. Artemis II is the mission that starts it all, with a crew. 4 astronauts, 10 days, 1 loop around the moon, and a series of events so precisely choreographed and so insanely dangerous that every single second of it has been rehearsed thousands of times. Let me walk you through all of it. It starts at Kennedy Space Center in Florida, at a launch pad called Complex 39B, the same historic complex that sent Apollo astronauts to the moon decades ago. On launch day, the 4 crew members suit up and ride an elevator up the massive mobile launch tower. Their spacecraft is called Orion, and it sits at the very top of a rocket called the Space Launch System, or SLS. This thing is enormous, 322 feet tall, and at liftoff, it produces 39 million newtons of thrust. That is 15% more raw power than the Saturn V rocket that sent Apollo to the moon. The moment those engines light, everything shakes. The solid rocket boosters on either side ignite, and within 2 minutes, they've burned out completely, falling away into the ocean. 6 minutes after that, the massive core stage detaches too, and suddenly, Orion is in orbit. But they don't leave for the moon yet. For about 2 days, the crew circles Earth. They check every single system on the spacecraft: life support, communications, navigation, backup controls. They are not leaving until everything checks out, because once they fire that engine for the moon, there's no quick way home. Then it happens. The engine burns, and Orion breaks free of Earth's gravity well, aimed directly at the moon on what's called a trans-lunar injection trajectory. Think of it like a perfectly thrown ball, except the ball is a spacecraft carrying 4 people, and the target is a moving rock nearly 400,000 kilometers away. The journey across takes 4 days. 4 days of coasting through deep space. The crew conducts experiments on radiation and microgravity. They monitor systems. They sleep, they eat, and every hour they drift further from the only world human beings have ever called home. Now here's where it gets interesting. This mission is not landing on the moon. Artemis II is a flyby, but don't let that word fool you into thinking it's simple. Orion won't dip into close lunar orbit like the Apollo missions did. Instead, it swings around on a much more distant arc, passing the far side of the moon at an altitude of around 8,000 kilometers. From that height, the moon still fills a huge portion of the window. Ancient impact craters, dark volcanic plains called lunar Maria, formed when lava flooded massive basins billions of years ago. A rugged, battered landscape that no human eye has ever seen from a window before. The far side of the moon, forever hidden from Earth's view, right there just outside the glass. And Earth? From that distance, Earth is just a small blue dot, barely a point of light. The spacecraft passes behind the moon, and contact with Earth goes completely silent. Mission control in Houston hears nothing. The crew is entirely alone. And that, right there, is the moment I told you about at the start of this video. I'll come back to it in just a moment. After the flyby, Orion uses the moon's gravity like a slingshot and curves back toward Earth. The return trip takes another 4 days. The crew prepares. They run re-entry checklists. They jettison the European service module that powered them through deep space. And they orient the heat shield at the bottom of the capsule for what's coming next. Re-entry. Orion hits the atmosphere at nearly 11 kilometers per second. That's fast enough to generate temperatures around 2,700 degrees Celsius on the heat shield, twice as hot as molten lava. And to manage the enormous forces on the crew's bodies, Orion performs what's called a skip re-entry. It dips into the atmosphere, bounces back out like a stone skipping across water, and then descends again for the final approach. Parachutes deploy in stages. First, small drogue chutes to stabilize, then 3 massive main parachutes that billow open above the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California, and the capsule splashes down. U.S. Navy and NASA recovery teams pull the crew out of the water. 10 days, done.
Now, let's go back to that moment. Orion, behind the moon, radio silence, 4 humans at a distance from Earth that no living person has ever been. And I told you this moment is not what you think it is. Here's the truth. The most profound thing about that moment isn't the danger. It's not even the distance. It's what it means to be conscious in that place. Every human being who has ever lived, every city ever built, every war ever fought, every child ever born, all of it from that altitude fits inside a dot so small you could cover it with your fingernail. The astronauts won't just be far from home, they will be the first people in over 50 years to truly see home, to see what we look like from out there, and to feel, in a way that no amount of photographs or data can replicate, just how small and how precious and how fragile this world actually is. Gene Cernan, the last human to walk on the moon, spent the rest of his life trying to describe what it felt like to look back at Earth from the lunar surface. He said it changed him at a fundamental level, that he came home a different person. These 4 astronauts are about to experience something similar, and this time, the world gets to watch. Artemis II isn't just a test flight, it's the moment humanity stops looking up at the moon and starts looking back at itself. And everything that follows, the landing with Artemis IV, the South Pole Research Base, the eventual mission to Mars, all of it begins with this. 10 days, 4 people, 1 spacecraft, and 1 small blue dot getting smaller in the window. If this gave you chills, even a fraction as much as it gave me writing it, smash that like button, drop your city in the comments, and subscribe. Because when Artemis II actually launches, we are going to cover every single moment of it together. The next giant leap starts now.